Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to River City Plus, the show after the show, the River City after party. And since it's a party, we wanted cocktails. Cheers. Join me today is my friend, Katrina Stoneking, and she is the CEO of Thomas Ashbourne Cocktails. Now, as a queen of many hats and many trades, beverage has always been something that was really close to your heart because it brings people together, much like fun, food, and fashion. So tell me about this brand. I know we got to see a little bit of it on the show, but you've really made things simple, and this is a female Florida brand doing big things.
Yeah, so I've been in Alc Bev now for about 20 years. Lived all over the place, born and raised South Florida. We came back about 6 years ago, and this opportunity came up to really kind of take this company and take it to the next level and bring more attention to well-made craft quality cocktails. Ours are all natural, gluten-free, and kosher. And then also bringing the celebrity experience behind it and the fact that it's a little bit different, actually a lot different than a lot of the other competitors out there, and the fact that they actually have equity in the brand. Mm-hmm. So they love the brand. They're behind the brand. They actually helped craft these quality cocktails and made sure that they tasted the way that they wanted them to before they actually went out and hit the market.
So I think that's really interesting, especially when we're seeing, a lot of the behind the scenes footage here. You've got Neil Patrick Harris, you've got a Cosmo by Sarah Jessica Parker, completely iconic drink. But when you went in to create these, like you said, they have equity in the brand. It means something to them. But obviously this is River City Plus, so we want the tea. What was it like working with some of the celebrities? Did you have any just favorite moments that you could think of?
Yeah, I would say Neil's awesome to work with. They're all awesome. But in terms of just playing around in terms of like on set or anywhere else we go, Neil's a hoot in the sense of he is who he is, of you see what you get. So when we're at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits running around, he's like, hey, let's see if I can get in a basket and you can push me across the store and I can grab some cocktails, or maybe I can go and climb a shelf and see if I can sign all the bottles in under so many minutes. So he's really fun to work with. They all are. Vanessa Hudgens is also another great one in the sense of she's a fierce businesswoman. She knows what she's doing. She gets right to the point, and she's really, really fun in the sense of bringing her, I would say, her style and everything into the cocktails of what they do.
I did love all these, like some of those were from the brand shoot with them, and it looked like an editorial thing that you would see in Vogue or by Love Shack Fancy or something. It was very her. Like, it was just cool to see them running around interacting. And they had a craft can drink. What was that?
So these come in bottles and cans.
It's so easy.
Yeah. So it's really super easy in terms of like the branding itself. Our tagline is wildly dignified. So you're always going to see something that's fun and witty, but also kind of a little more elevated, but also accessible for everybody to be able to grab it.
Yeah. Now I have to ask you, because I do know that you've been so successful in fashion, like you said, in different alcoholic beverages. Like, you've done a lot in your career. So when this team wanted you to come on, what made you say yes about the brand?
It's more about getting a chance to kind of peek under the hood of what's going on, and then in terms of coming from large scale corporations and companies, my biggest pushback and why I don't do that is the red tape and being able to see the problem and then actually being able to fix it. My pushback is, okay, why aren't we fixing the issue? Why don't we do something about it? So when I have the opportunity to see things and there's either simple tweaks or say, here's a great idea, but how do we really plus this up? How do we take it to the next level? How do we really scale it to make it something big? That's what I found in this company.
Yeah. I think they're very lucky to have you, because I've seen you at work. I know how hard you work. I've seen you build brands from the ground up and really make sure that everything was on brand. So it was a word I heard, when I was living in South Florida. I was like, what is this on brand? But now I live and breathe it, because it makes so much sense to me now to have imagery, to have video, to have conversations, to have logos, everything really living in harmony. So as somebody who really has their mind wrapped around not only the numbers and the metrics of it, but also the aesthetics, how do you walk that line as a CEO, making sure that everything stays within the parameters of a wildly undignified brand, but looks really beautiful and something you want to grab off the shelf.
Yeah. So in terms of wildly dignified, it's more about the partners are great, right? So we make sure that they're on brand and it makes sense for their drink. So they actually have a connection. It's not like some false thing of where you say, hey, we found this. Do you want to attach your name to it? Like they have to actually have like a personal connection. So when we're out there with them saying, here's why you should, pick up this brand or something else like that, they can actually tell truthfully, here's why it matters to me and here's why I wanted to do it. And that's how we look at moving forward. So, in 25 and 26, when we look to launch, new brands with new celebrity partners, those partners also have to be, I would say, on brand for us as Thomas Ashbourne, as, the top line ethos brand, but also have a connection to the cocktail that they want to bring to the market as well.
Yeah. So in companies these days, I mean, we see so many people wanting to use influencers, wanting to use celebrities. And like you said, sometimes it's a flash in the pan licensing thing, but finding that authenticity, I think we know is what really develops that long-term customer and the sell-through. So what advice would you have for maybe young companies that are looking to connect with influencers? How do you find the right people that are meant to work with your brand?
I would say the first thing to look for, I know, when you look at influencers, you want to grab what's trending and what's coming up pretty rapidly. But at the same time, be very aware of the fact that it is your company, it's your baby, so to speak. So if you don't do your homework as to what's behind that person or do your due diligence, that single person could essentially take down your brand because they're attached with it. So you really have to do your homework about who you're working with. And just because they're on the rise doesn't mean also that they're going to stay on the rise. So you want to make sure that there's a good balance between somebody that's trending, but also somebody that has staying power. So really look at the data behind it. It is data driven, but it's also, pretty in marketing too.
It's like the two types of marketing girly. It's like
exactly. You have to do your homework on it.
So doing your homework. And I would say the same would go for the influencer itself or for that name and face, because if you can't connect with something, you're not going to get the sales. And so then the company is going to look back at you and say, hey, we're paying you all of this money and we're not getting an actual ROI on our investment with you.
Correct. Like authenticity, I have been saying this for so many times now. Authenticity matters. The consumer is not dumb. The consumer is smart. The consumer knows if there is a connection to something or not that is real or not. If they don't know about it in the first 3 months, give them a sec. They'll figure it out. And then you won't see the pull through. So you need a product that obviously tastes great. If you have that that celebrity or that influencer that allows the person to actually pull the product off the shelf is really important. But if the product quality isn't there, they're not going to come back for a second round to pull through. So you'll have a flash in the pan and then all of a sudden you'll see everything falls off because you don't have the product quality that doesn't taste well.
Yeah. So I think there's so many things that go into creating what you've done here. And when we were talking about the numbers and the math, obviously the economy is tough right now. We still want to be able to have an elevated experience or something like that at our home. But I was adding up in my head how many different bottles of something I would have to buy in order to create some of these cocktails. And it's really an expense and an investment. So I just applaud you the fact that you've made this attainable for people to have that wildly elevated experience in their home and offer that to their friends and family without necessarily sacrificing a huge dollar amount to host a party.
Yeah, and the thing is this is, you have 4 different cocktails of these are mixologists, actual like Michelin star mixologists have actually come into the fact of making these quality cocktails. So they're using flavors that we might not even have accessible to us that we have the ability to put in here for you. So you're not running around going, man, I really want the flavor of this, but I don't know how to make it or replicate it at home. That's why this is great. Like you look at the Espresso Martini, that one alone,
clearly I've been looking at it all morning.
And it's delicious. You can do 5 different ingredients at least just to make an Espresso Martini for what you want. So, I mean, from the accessibility standpoint, it needs to be accessible for everybody to have great craft quality cocktails.
I love that. Well, cheers to you all being inclusive and making sure that everybody can party with us, because that's what we're all about on River City Live. Now, really quick before we go, pro tip, I found out these are BOGO right now at ABC.
Yeah, so ABC they're on buy one get one. So they're on BOGO, and then also if you go to our Instagram, there's actually a link where you can try and only pay $2 for them.
Oh.
So we're running a digital, like a little fun little digital for that. So go ahead and go on there, and you're basically getting, two for $2. So
That's amazing.
right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, listen, that's my kind of girl math. I love
Yeah.
it. Well, Katrina, thank you so much for spending your morning with us.
Yeah.
Really happy to have you putting the Florida on the map,
Yeah.
creating an experience that everybody can enjoy. So thank you for joining us for River City Plus.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody, we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for River City Live.